Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing really well. Today we're taking a look at this fragrance over here, this one, Creed Aventus Cologne. Not really tackled this one on the channel before, and I figured now is as good a time as ever. So in this video, I'm gonna go over this fragrance and break it down for you guys, show you the presentation as well, let you know how it compares to this one, Creed Aventus, and let you know whether or not this one is worth buying or at least checking out. So let's jump into it. Just in case anybody is wondering, I did not get sent Aventus Cologne from Creed. I actually bought this from Fragrance X, which is one of my favorite fragrance discounters. And I'll leave a link in the description to Aventus and Aventus Cologne down there to their listing on Fragrance X. In case any of you are unaware of them for any reason, they sell legitimate fragrances, completely authentic, both niche and designer. And they ship really fast too, so thumbs up for that. Let's go ahead and check out that presentation first off. If you're new to Creed, you're not gonna be aware that back in the day, their bottles actually came in 75 and 120 ml size bottles, because now they come in 50 and 100. This one is a 100. And when they made that change, people were not really excited to be getting less fragrance for the same amount of money. But that is what it is, and if you buy this now, it's gonna come in a 50 or 100 ml size bottle, unless you buy a larger decanter or flacon. You have here the name of the fragrance on the front, Aventus Cologne. You notice there the styling, very, very, very similar to the original, only this one has a gray coloration on this sticker wrap on the front. Then you have the name of the house, Creed. You have the Creed insignia on top of the cap. It does click into place, as you can see right there. And the badge code for this one is actually right here, etched into the glass. But with Creed fragrances, they kind of move their badge codes all over. So you could find it here, you could find it here, you could find it down here. It could be printed, it could be etched. I've seen it a whole bunch of different ways. And here's your box. Again, name of the fragrance, name of the house, the size right there on the front. You have your Creed information on the top and on the back, kind of a description of the fragrance house and the heritage of the house and all of that stuff. On the bottom, you're gonna find this sticker, which has your badge code. This one is 20D01. So this is a 2020 batch of Aventus Cologne. And I'll go ahead and waste a spray for you guys. Got a tester strip right here. There we go. As always, Creed has really good atomizers. There's a lot to unpack here, and I'm gonna try to do it pretty quickly so this video doesn't run really, really long. Creed Aventus is basically the most popular men's niche fragrance of all time. This one sells like crazy. It really catapulted niche to the top of the mainstream niche houses. And this fragrance has been duped, ripped off, or made inspired by expressions from other houses countless times. You've got lots of clones of this, cheap ones, expensive ones, and as I said, you've got other niche houses that have made fragrances a little bit similar to this one. Actually, I did a video not that long ago about the best Aventus fragrances that aren't Aventus, so you can check that out for more info on those. They made Aventus for Her, which is a female fragrance obviously in the Aventus line, and then this one right here, Aventus Cologne. Now the way that Creed kind of pitches this fragrance is that it's supposed to be a really versatile year-round fragrance, one that you can wear in any kind of situation. And then the way that they pitch Aventus is that it's more for an evening out, or if you're just really trying to command attention with a bold fragrance. So that's how, according to Creed, these two are positioned. Anytime, any day, any season, evening out, or if you want to command attention. I don't know that I necessarily view them that way between these two, but that's how Creed does. For me, Aventus Cologne is more of your spring and summertime, daytime version of Aventus, and Aventus, the original, actually out of these two, is better suited for year-round use, daytime or nighttime. It's not so heavy that you can't wear it in summer, and it's also not so light that you can't wear it in winter. You can wear Aventus whenever you want. Aventus Cologne, though, takes a different style, different path. One of the things that you'll notice that's very different about Aventus Cologne as compared to Aventus is the note of pineapple is not in Aventus Cologne, which is really one of the things that people will recognize the most from Creed's Aventus, that pineapple note in the opening of the fragrance. Oftentimes it comes across very juicy, very fresh, very vibrant, and very attention-grabbing. Whereas in Aventus Cologne, they do have fruit in the opening, but instead of pineapple, it is mandarin orange. So, a bit of a difference there. There's also ginger and pink pepper in the opening of Aventus Cologne. And you're finding, once again, that combination of ginger and citrus in the opening of Aventus Cologne. I've talked about this on the channel many times. When you put ginger with citrus in the opening of a fragrance, particularly if you're going for that very sparkling sort of opening, that sparkling, attention-grabbing citrus where it jumps off your skin, that's what you're getting here, ginger plus citrus, and it does have that kind of effect. So this one, bright, fresh, sparkly, right off the top, the mandarin and the ginger. The pink pepper is there kind of as a nuance, like a supporting note to the ginger and the mandarin orange, and it also has kind of a green undertone when you first spray this one on. The Aventus DNA though is noticeable right away. Even if this doesn't have pineapple as an official note, you get that Aventus DNA right away. You're not gonna confuse this with something else. You're gonna know, oh yeah, this is fresh Aventus. There's also birch in Aventus Cologne, but not as much as in Aventus, so you're not gonna get as much of that smoky kind of effect. It's much more toned down in Aventus Cologne. Aventus Cologne does smell good up close in the opening, in the mid, and the dry down, but it actually smells better in the air. This is one of those fragrances that as you move around, it smells really good coming off your skin. So people that walk by you, or if you come into close contact with somebody and they kind of pick that up coming off your skin, it's gonna smell way better. And it is a big compliment puller. If that's important to you, this one is a big compliment puller, a big attention grabber. Actually, when I went to the salon most recently and got my hair cut, two of the ladies there smelled this one coming off of me, asked me what it was and said it smelled amazing. So yeah, it has that kind of compliment factor, again, if that's important to you. And frankly, if you're looking at buying Aventus Cologne, I would assume it probably is important to you. As this one dries down, you get more of a clean, fuzzy sort of musk that comes up and becomes prominent. It's actually more prominent in Aventus Cologne than the birch is, so you get a good amount of that musk. It's got some of the residual sweetness from the opening, some of that residual sort of orangey sweetness from the mandarin. There's also a little bit of tonka there in the dry down, and it has a modern woodiness to it. So it's got that clean, modern woodsy vibe to it rather than that smoky, birchy vibe. Into the dry down, Aventus Cologne stays clean, stays fresh, and really it doesn't change a huge amount once the mandarin fades away and this heads into the mid. It stays pretty consistent through the dry down. So I would say Aventus does have more depth, has a little more complexity, it's a little bit more interesting than Aventus Cologne is. But Aventus Cologne is still very versatile in its own right and still very nice and carries on that Aventus DNA, again, just in kind of a cleaner, fresher way. And while you do pick up a little vetiver, a little patchouli in the mid of Aventus Cologne, it still maintains that modern kind of cleanliness to it, that modern freshness. It never really turns earthy or dirty at all. Aventus Cologne does smell really nice. It does. It's very pleasant. As I said, very versatile, very easy to wear. Between the two, if I could have just one, I would still take the original Aventus. I think, like I said, it's got more complexity, it's more interesting, better fragrance overall, more contrasts, more going on, more versatile, because you can use that year round, whereas Aventus Cologne, for me, again, more spring, summertime than it is fall or winter. All right, let's touch on performance really quickly. Projection here is moderate. It is not beast mode off my skin, but it's not weak either. Just what I would consider a moderate projector. In terms of longevity, 7+ hours, so no complaints there. I will say that the original Aventus does last a little longer, does project a little better for me on average. Now, I'm not gonna get into the batch talk, but you'll have some people say that some batches of Aventus last longer, some last a smaller amount of time. For me, on average, Aventus outperforms Aventus Cologne. Just leave it there. One thing with Aventus Cologne, though, is it's kind of sneaky. You'll think that it's gone sometimes, and then you'll catch a whiff of it. And so that's an issue some people have with Aventus as well, where they go anosmic, they think it's not there, but it really is. Same thing can happen with Aventus Cologne, where you think it's not there, but it actually is. Somebody else will comment on it, or like I said, you'll catch a whiff of it and be like, oh, it's not actually gone. Nice. So overall, Aventus Cologne, I think it's really good. It's not great. I think that the original Aventus is better. I think that if you, for some reason, think Aventus is too heavy, then Aventus Cologne could really work well for you. If you're a big fan of Aventus, you should absolutely check out Aventus Cologne because it adds kind of a different facet to your Aventus wardrobe. If you're just looking for a really nice, high-end, super versatile, people-pleasing, mass-appealing sort of spring and summertime daytime scent, also check Aventus Cologne out. It's really nice, very pleasant. I'm not gonna knock it too much. It's just I think the original is better. And some people actually will compare Aventus Cologne to Chanel Allure Homme Sport. So you could almost kind of think of Aventus Cologne as a fresh designer take on Aventus. Not like Mont Blanc Explorer, which basically does that, but yeah, kind of. All right, guys, it's gonna do it for me. Creed Aventus Cologne. I do really like it. I will wear it in spring or summer. I do think it's very good. It's just the original I like a little bit more, or a decent amount more. All right, guys, it's gonna do it for me with Creed Aventus Cologne. If you've smelled that one, let me know what you think about it in the comments, and let me know which one is better, original Aventus or Aventus Cologne. Which one? I think most of you will agree that the original is better, but this one I'm sure has some fans out there. I was pointing off camera at Aventus. This one. I think most of you will agree this one is better, but see, now it makes more sense. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.